Guys, how you going? Tonight we're going over habits. So welcome to week 8. First, what I'm going to talk about is what exactly a habit is. They're not nasty little creatures that run around your house and make you do things you don't want to do. They are quite helpful. And when you know how they're made, they're quite easy to break and also easy to create in place of the ones that you're breaking. So we're going to break it down. We're going to break down the science of the habit loop and how a habit is formed. And then we're going to talk specifically about what's holding you back, because there'll be one habit that acts as that first domino. If you can knock over that first domino, the rest of the dominoes will fall in that place. So for the last 8 weeks, in the back of your mind, what should have been thought about is what exactly is holding you back. And at the start compared to now, it's probably a little bit different. What you might have thought was holding you back at the start may not actually be what was holding you back. It may have developed. And the thing is I don't think this habit ever really, you can never really pin it down, because it changes. It changes week to week, month to month, year to year. And as you start to peel back the layers of the onion, the habits get deeper and deeper. So whereas a very shallow habit you might think is eating chocolate late at night, you may be eating that chocolate late at night because of a number of different things. It may be because you're not eating enough food throughout the day. It could be because you don't have enough food through the day. A whole different host of issues tend to come out once you start to really become aware of what your biggest habit that's holding you back comes to mind. So as you start to dig deeper, the habits become bigger and better, and you learn more about yourself. So one fact is, if you're not aware of your habits, you'll always feel as though you're starting your good intentions over and over again. Tell me if you can relate. New Year comes along, you start the most popular diet at the time, and then February, March comes in, and all of a sudden, all those good intentions are out the window. And that may be the same case for you multiple times throughout the year. September, when spring comes along, and so forth, depending on how badly you're trying, the case may differ. So what are these habits? Well, habits are actions that we play out every day. They actually control up to 70%, even more in some cases, of our daily actions. It's natural for our brains to chunk together smaller tasks into bigger tasks. It's a way for our brains to store information. And with the amount of information that it has to store, if we didn't have any natural brain chunking or habits, then we would have to relearn how to get to work every day, relearn how to tie our shoelaces, and so forth. Now, these natural brain chunks, these habits, they're actually stored in a very primitive part of the brain. It's a part of the brain where our body can't determine whether the habit is good for us or bad for us. So essentially, it just gets stored and it gets played out until we decide we want to reprogram it. So have that habit that you've thought about for the last few weeks. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Just have that habit that you're pretty confident, pretty sure of, in the back of your mind over the next few slides. And I'll show you how you can start to identify the parts of that habit and how to break it. So here are the mechanics of a habit loop. For any habit to start, it needs a cue. It needs something to trigger that habit loop. There needs to be the routine itself, which is typically the habit that we think of when we think of what bad habits are holding us back. And then there's the reward. This is often elusive, something we don't really pay much attention to. But deep down, it's a driver for us. So here's a really classic example. At the end of the day, where you have a bit of wind down time, the kids are in bed, you've had a big day at work, you sit down in front of the telly, and then you break out the sweet treat, whatever the sweet treat is, whether it's in a snack box in the middle of your couch or in the cupboard, in the fridge, even in your bedroom under the bed, wherever that sweet treat might be, you go and source it out, bring it out, and then you obviously get the tasty reward. Now, this is obviously a very powerful habit because the result or the reward is instant. So you get that yummy taste instantly, you get endorphins released, all that good stuff. And this is why it's so hard to break. The easiest way to break a habit is actually break and create one at the same time. So here you can see pictured on the right, instead of having that sweet treat, we've got something else. Can anyone tell me what they might think that is? Pop it in the comments feed, or you can post it later on. But I'll tell you what that is. That's a vanilla cream nut crunch. Straight out of the Cook Bible. Tasty, delicious, and it's not going to have as much calories per bite as the sweet treat. So all of a sudden you've just used the benefits of having a habit already established, and you've just reinserted a different routine. Now, that's not to say that you're going to be able to just reinsert something and it stick. Depending on how deep-seated that initial habit was, you may go back once, twice, a dozen times. But as long as you're aware of it, you have the power now to replace it whenever you choose to replace it. Let's say you can't do that. Let's say the routine is so powerful that you have to literally chain yourself away from the cupboard so you can't get to that sweet treat. What else can we do? We can replace the cue. So rather than sit down and watch TV, you can do a totally different thing instead. You'll read a book, have a conversation. If you don't have the food in the house, it won't be eaten. This is why the kitchen makeover is so important. Rather than just going through and ticking everything, really being honest about the kitchen makeover. And if you haven't purged or pillaged, leaving that unchecked, that is super important, because when it comes to your coach having the knowledge of what's going on inside your environment, that's the tool that we use. And if that tool is not accurately filled out, then we don't have any power. If we know that you haven't completely purged and pillaged, and you may have some treats in the house still, and we do see it pop up on your meal record, we can solve that problem for you much more effectively than if we just think you've done the kitchen makeover and it's gone. So a really important point, make sure that kitchen makeover is done regardless of if it's your stuff that's in the house, or it's your partner's stuff in the house, or it's the kids' stuff, or the roommates and so forth. But if you do have total control over your household and you can get rid of it, getting rid of it is one of the most powerful things you can do, and making sure the right foods are in the right place at the right time to get that sweet treat hit from a much healthier place. And there's some examples there of the habit loop and how it can be changed. Another common habit a lot of people struggle with is actually exercising. So there's this habit that not everybody is a natural at, and some people want to become regular exercisers. Well, how do we do that? First of all, to build the habit loop, it's the same thing. Same principle applies. You need to apply a cue. Having a bag packed at the end of the bed or near the front door of a morning can be a really powerful cue to just get up and go, rather than having to get up, walk around the kitchen in your pajamas, and then decide to go back to bed because it's too cold or something or other. You're too tired. So having shoes, clothes, bag packed, ready to go is a powerful cue. And obviously we know the rewards there. Once you do your workout, you do feel good about yourself. So that's easy. And after enough time has passed, you have the benefits, or the physical benefits, to come along with it. But getting that cue right is really important. So here's an action task for you. If you're not quite sure about your Cornerstone habit yet, feel free to email me, peter@physique.com.au, or megan@physique.com.au. Message us, email us, and ask us, or give us an idea of what you think your Cornerstone habit is, and then we can help you determine whether that is or not. And then from there, you can start to recognize the cues, recognize the parts of the habit loop, and start to insert new things, take out cues, replace them, and so forth, and eventually get to a place where the habit loop is something that's worth remembering, because it needs to become a craving. For you to successfully transform your body shape and achieve what you want to achieve, eventually what you need to start to do is crave the result more than the craving of anything else. All right, so thanks guys, thanks for watching. Zave, James, good to see you guys on. Sorry I didn't see the comments pop up as I went, but I'm loving the interaction. If you do have any questions, any comments, pop them in the comments feed and I'll answer them as I go. But it's not a female only problem. As I can see here, a lot of guys do like the sweet treats, as do I myself. In fact, every night we do enjoy a sweet protein dessert together, me and Megan. It's just a little something that we enjoy together. And that's the thing. When I'm competing, I'll eat a little bit less sweet, but when I'm not competing, I'll still eat some sweet stuff. So it's all about finding balance. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye.